Good morning, everyone. Well, I am now caffeined up and looking forward to stepping outside to do some Tai Chi. But I was just having my coffee and I thought what I'd like to share this morning is the importance of what is called narrative in our daily speak at the moment. I would I would call them stories of the psyche. And so there's loads of ways we can look at this, but in essence, it really means that mostly we don't perceive reality. We perceive the story that we're projecting onto a person, onto reality. So we're telling a story that we believe, and then that becomes how we perceive ourselves, other people, the world. And so, of course, we could look at the media, how they kind of put in what I would call destructive stories into us, stories of fear and separation and helplessness, all the kind of the negative qualities of the egoic self, really, and the collective, if you like, they tend to create a collective thought form of fear based on not reality but an edited version of reality that brings anxiety and fear and keeps us wanting to go back to read more and more to uphold that tension. But I'm coming to from the spiritual perspective now, what the relevance of stories. So on the spiritual journey, there's different parts. First part is what's called, in Buddhism, I think they call it learning the Dharma. So in Christianity, you study your Bible. In Zen, you may listen to other Zen masters. In Taoism, you read the Tao Te Ching. So that usually the first start of the spiritual journey is learning a better story. It's a story that hasn't generally been told to you through your life. Stories of bravery, of heroism, stories of compassion and love and sacrifice, the Dharma, really. So it means that we're learning a better story. That's the first start of the spiritual journey for most people, learning what we could call a spiritual story, a holistic story about ourselves and life, so we can approach it and have a more beautiful, happier experience. However, after a certain amount of years of meditation and study, we reach a point in this spiritual journey, and it's called the dark night of the soul. So the dark night of the soul, it's not you just feel a little bit down. That's inevitable in life. But the dark night of the soul is a time in which you realize that even spirituality is a story, that you maybe Zen, the idea you had about Zen was a story. It wasn't a direct perception, or you had an idea about what God was or the Buddha nature was, but this was just a thought form. It was another story that you were living out. So the dark night of the soul is usually when you have this realization, the realization you actually don't know, that actually, is there a God? Am I eternal? Am I a soul? More than the story that I've been told that I am. So the dark night of the soul is a transition time that a lot of people, it's scary for a lot of people. St. John of the Cross, who coined that phrase, his dark night of the soul was 40 years or something, that he was in a really rough place. For some people, it might be just a year or two. Average time, it seems to be, when I hear Eckhart Tolle's story, it tends to be about 10 years that most people will go through the dark night of the soul, which is the time of integration, the time of true awakening beyond even the story of God or Rama or Krishna or, the Buddha, beyond all of those stories. So it turns into a direct perception. So then at that point, the dark night of the soul is the eradication of all stories. If I let go of the story of self and God and Zen and Tao, what's left when all those stories are gone? And then so what starts to be left is direct perception of truth. You could call that the process of true enlightenment. However, after that fourth stage is we actually start to see the importance of stories, and instead of relying on other people's stories, we start to create our own in a way that is very powerful. So we might wake up in the morning and say, today I choose to be happy, I choose love, I choose compassion, I choose things going well for me. So we start to see that the mind is a very powerful tool in engaging how we feel our vibratory state of being. So today I advise, very, very careful of the stories that you're taking on. Look at how they affect your feeling level, your vibration level. Secondly, Step back from the story for a while, be a little bit peaceful and calm in your being. Thirdly, create your own narrative. Create stories which intrinsically you feel in your body raise your vibration, create more happiness and lightness, and get rid of this idea of I'm right, you're wrong, you're right, I'm wrong. Just creating that state of unity, peace, and cooperation. Have a beautiful day. Take care of yourself. Bye for now.